Hey everybody, this is Jason Clark from Howard Brothers True Value in Duluth, and today we're going to be doing a butt. We're actually doing it from my house. We got an event we're going to be doing on Monday. We'll do a video there. So I'm doing the butt here. I'm going to take it to work. I'm going to do the other part on Monday there. Today I'm going to show you how I do a butt. And the first step I always do is I inject it the day before I'm going to cook it. And so I'm going to show you that right now. So you got a 10-pound, this is a 10-pound butt. Normally they're anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds. And what I do is I take a cup of apple juice, half a cup of sugar, quarter cup of salt, half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. So the couple things that I always like to have around my house, not only at work, you see me wearing gloves all the time at work, but I even use them here. It's really nice, keeps from getting messy. But another thing we use here at my house all the time is aluminum pans. We've been doing it at work for years and years, and I'm like, well dang, I get tired of doing dishes. So we always keep a big stack of these around the house, and we love it. So when we're done, we can just throw it away. And another thing we use a lot is an injector. There's all kinds of makes and models out there. I've got a really high-end one, but believe it or not, this little booger here, this cheap little booger, is hands down my favorite, and this actually came with a sauce brine kit from Tony Sagery. And I love this needle. The biggest thing I like about it, it's a really sharp point on it. So it gets into the meat very easily versus the bigger, bulkier ones. So after I've got all the ingredients in the bowl, you're just gonna stir it all up, let it set for a few minutes and come back and stir it. Just to make sure everything gets dissolved in there. And once that's done, we're now going to inject the butt. Now, as you can see, I said we use the aluminum pans and whatnot. I hear all the time that you shouldn't use metal pans when you're marinating stuff. I'm sure there's a really good reason for that, but it's always worked for me, so that's what we go with. So I've got it all mixed up here, and all I'm going to do is just all over this butt, and you're just going to squeeze a little bit in, not a lot, and then always put your finger over the hole for a few seconds, because if not, it can come jetting back out at you, and will come jetting back out at you. And it will get everywhere. So I'm just gonna go around here every few inches, putting in, just a decent little bit of juice in every hole, and you'll see it start swelling up as you're doing that. But you want to try to use just about all of this mixture that we've made up, and just go a little bit everywhere. You squeeze a little bit in, put your finger over the hole for a couple seconds. See, now there I've hit bone, so I'm just going to pass that area a little bit. Found a good pocket here. And you can see it kind of oozing out everywhere. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put holes and inject this thing all over till my injection's all done. I'm going to wrap it, put some aluminum foil over it, stick it in the refrigerator overnight. Like I said, this is Saturday right now. I'm actually going to cook it Sunday to have it ready for Monday. So I'm going to inject this, wrap it, stick it in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow, when I pick this back up, I'll show you how I'm going to cook it, and then a neat little trick on how to keep it warm for many, 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 many hours. All right, so as you can see, I completely injected this butt all over the place. There are holes everywhere. I also went down the sides. So you just want to fill all the cavities that you possibly can. Like I said, use all that mixture if possible. And you're gonna notice that there will be juices in the bottom. That's gonna happen. Juice is gonna still keep pouring out. don't worry. You're getting way, way, way more juice inside the meat than is actually coming outside of the meat. So don't be concerned about that when you look in and say, oh my gosh, look at all this juice out here. Don't worry, you've put plenty inside the meat. So I just wanted to show you that. Now I'm gonna wrap it, stick it in the fridge, put it to bed for the night, and then I'll be back with you tomorrow. All right, everybody, it's Sunday afternoon. I've just pulled the butt out of the refrigerator. It's been taking a nap all night long and getting nice and marinated. And now I'm getting ready to throw it on the grill. And the way I determine that is I want to smoke it for 5 hours before I wrap it. And then I'll wrap it. And by the way, I use a Traeger. I'll throw it on the Traeger and then go to bed. When I get up in the morning, I'll pick it up and take it into work for phase 2. So I figured it's right at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon right now. So I'm getting ready to put the seasoning on it and put it on. That'll give me till 9 p.m. To smoke it. I'll wrap it up, throw it on the grill, and let it go all night long. But I've got the grill warming up right now. I'm getting it up to 220 degrees. I'm going to put it on super smoke. But while that's getting up to temperature, here we are with the butt. And as you can see here, when I pull it out, there's a decent amount of juice in there. Like I said, there will be, but that's no problem. You got more than enough in the meat itself. So what I do is I come over here. Now on my butts, I like to put mustard on it to give something for the seasoning to adhere to. Some people don't do it, but I do. You will not taste the mustard after it's done cooking. So you're just gonna put this all over it, get it nice and covered, flip it over, put a little bit on the back side too. And then I'm gonna put the seasoning. Now you can put any seasoning you want. I used to make my own years ago, but they've got so many good ones out now that I don't even mess with it anymore. So today we're gonna do the Traeger Blackened Saskatchewan. It's a really good flavor. Pork and poultry is really good as well. And personally, I was gonna use the Lane's scorpion steak, but I'm running a little low, so we're gonna go with my backup here. So you're just gonna do a really good liberal covering on the butt. I mean, you really want to cover it really well. Make sure you get the sides. Get it all around. I mean, put a really good coat on it. You gotta be afraid. There's enough meat there that'll be able to take it all. Flip it over. Just a little bit more on the other side. That looks pretty good. Just make sure I got a good coat. Yeah, so you don't want to see the meat really. You want to just have a really good coating on it all over. And then, like I said, now I'm getting ready to go out and put it on the grill. I'm gonna let it run for 5 hours at 220 degrees at super smoke. And then I'll be back with you when I wrap it up. Okay, y'all, it's 9 o'clock and I'm ready for bed. So it's been 5 hours. The butt's been smoking and man, it's looking really, really, really good. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull it out of the pan. I'm gonna put it on this aluminum foil. And the only thing I'm gonna do is add a little apple juice, wrap it up really nice and tight, double layer of aluminum, and I've already turned the grill up to 250 degrees. I've checked my pellets so it's nice and full. And we're gonna get this thing going so we can go to bed. All right, so look at this. Very nice crust on the butt. Starting to firm up really nicely. I'm gonna start closing this in. And you wanna make it pretty nice and tight. As you can see, I've got 2 layers here. So I get the sides nice and tight, and then I add about, 3/4 to a cup of apple juice. And it just so happens this is actually works out perfect. That's 1 cup. And I'm gonna close this up nice and tight. Put the second layer on it, nice and tight. and this is going back on the grill at 250 degrees. I'm going to bed. I'll wake up at 4 a.m., pull this baby off, throw it in a cooler, take it to work. We'll do the next part of the video and enjoy. One of the biggest tricks I have, a cooler. You can take these butts and cook them. Like I said, you can smoke them for 5 hours and then wrap them up and let them go for many, many hours. But after that, if you need them to stay hot for a very, very long amount of time, you can take them still wrapped in their aluminum foil, throw them in a cooler, shut the lid, and let it go. In particular, if you were to put some towels that you don't ever want again around them and on top of it, it can go for many, many, many hours. So just a tip to everyone out there, to let them know that they can cook it well in advance, stick it in a cooler, shut the lid, and just let it go, and it could be 5, 6, 7, 8 hours later and it'll still be hot. All right, so now we're on to part two. As you know, I took the butt off this morning at my house at 4 a.m. It is sitting in a cooler over in our break room, waiting for the next part. Now, a lot of people, when they do butts, they make pulled pork sandwiches. I prefer to do it on potatoes, big baked potatoes, so that's what we're gonna do today. And baked potatoes on a Traeger are phenomenal and extremely easy to make. So this is only gonna take a second to show you what I do. We've already got a bunch of them prepped, but I'm gonna show you the last 4. So basically, all I'm gonna do, get some olive oil in my hand, give a good coating. Of course, I've washed all the potatoes, scrubbed them, make sure they're nice and clean. And this is just extra virgin olive oil. Get them nice and coated. And then I just put salt and pepper on them usually. But again, it just so happens I'm using Lane's brisket seasoning, a local group. It's basically the salt and pepper with a little bit of garlic in it. And I think it's gonna give it really, really good flavor. So I'm gonna put a really good coating all over the potatoes. And while I've been doing this, the Traeger is warming up right now. I'm getting up to 375 degrees. And they're done. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take these over to the grill. I'm gonna take them out of the pan and put them directly on the grates at 375 degrees for 1 hour, and they should be perfectly done and ready to eat. Okay, so we got these all oiled up and got the seasoning on them. So now all I'm doing is take them out of the pan, pour them right on the grate. We're doing it at 375 degrees, and in 1 hour, they should be perfectly done, ready to eat. Very simple, but very, very tasty. All right, so it's been an hour and potatoes should be done. I'm just gonna take a fork here. Oh yeah, I mean, it's just a plastic fork and it's just going right through them. So they are good to go. So now we're gonna pull them off, take them back over, shred the pork. We'll show you that step next. All right, so we got the potatoes off the grill. Now I'm getting ready to pull the butt out of the cooler here. Now remember, I put this in the cooler at 4 o'clock this morning, so it's been sitting in here, just sitting in here for 8 hours. And it is still very hot. Ugh. I can tell it's completely done because it's just, that's one. So 8 hours, I've done nothing. Just left it sitting there in the cooler. I'm gonna come over here and open it. I don't ever have to probe them because I've done them for so long, I know that they're ready to go, but look at all those juices. And when I was talking about the bone, it's done. That's how you know, it just slides right out. So we're good to go. I'm gonna put this in the pan. I'm gonna, actually get a second pan. I like to save a little bit of the juices to put back in the butt when I start after I get done shredding it. That's still warm. Oh, look, it's just falling apart. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off. Now remember, that's been in there 8 hours. Like I said, if I would even packed in some towels that you don't ever want again, mind you. I mean, it's hot. It would stay screaming hot for, I mean, hours and hours and hours. I'm not even gonna need the shredders. I think I can do this. Now, as I'm shredding this up, some people like to pull the fat off of it, the top off. I don't. I like to blend it in. That's just my preference because it's got a lot of the flavor in it. So I don't want to lose that. So I'm gonna shred this up, and then I take just a little bit more of the seasoning that I had put on top of the butt when I was cooking it, and put a little bit more in the meat. And I did the Blackened Saskatchewan, so we're putting a little more Blackened Saskatchewan back in it, along with just a little bit of juice. Maybe not a lot, just a light little coating of it. And then I like to put just a little bit of the juice back in, just a little bit. I'm gonna finish. Ooh, it's hot. Finish shredding this up here. And man, it smells so good. All right, now for my favorite part. We're gonna make ourselves a stuffed potato. All right, so time for the baked potato, and it is, I mean, super soft. Just done all the way through. Butter. Okay, so you can top these with anything. I like to do a little bit of everything. Sour cream, cheese, the pulled pork, pick your favorite barbecue sauce, and jalapenos, but don't have any jalapenos right now, so we'll have to suffer. I like to put a little butter on this because I forgot about the butter. Oh yeah, and we'll put a little bit of barbecue on top. A little bit of cheese. Dollop of sour cream. And then we'll go with the Traeger Q on this one. I'm telling you, that is a meal right there, y'all.